Yes, welcome into the College Loop post-game special, little wrap-up action we got going on here following Auburn's heartbreaking 73-76 loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks in the first round of the SEC tournament. I'm Harrison Tarr, joined today by Dylan Larck, just like we always are here on the College Loop. We're trying something a little bit different. We're going to try to keep this abbreviated, so maybe we can see if this hits a little bit better. We just want to see what you guys think. If you guys like the content, let us know. If you don't like the content, also let us know. That's completely fine. Let's just let's see what's working for all of us and make this experience as enjoyable as possible. As I'm getting a text from Zach Blackerby here. Let me make sure I mute my ringer. Dylan, Auburn fell tonight after going down by as many as I believe it was 15. And I'd already sent out the night tweet, and I wasn't going to delete it. I was going to quote tweet it and tell people to go clown me, and that would have been fine. I'd sent out the night tweet early, and I'm a sunshine pumper here. It felt like, and ultimately, I think I was right. Too little, too late. And then in the beginning of the surge, let me tell you a couple guys here. There are 3 guys on my list that are safe from me questioning their motivation to play in the SEC tournament. Number 1 is KD Johnson. Number 2 is Chris Moore.
Oh, for sure.
And people are going to give him a whole lot of shit for this because I know he missed that last shot. Wendell Green Jr. wanted to be there, folks. Wendell Green Jr. hates Arkansas more than you hate Arkansas, and I'm talking to you, the viewer, you, the listener. And trust me, I understand the Auburn-Arkansas rivalry. It's good for the sport. It's good for the sport. It's good for the conference. Those 3 guys wanted to be there. The rest of the team didn't want to be there as much as the folks that traveled from Auburn, Alabama, from other parts of Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, wherever they traveled from to be there at the tournament. The kids that blew off part of their spring break. I've been there. I was one of you. Dylan was one of you.
Yeah.
One of us. This team lacked effort, in my opinion. And I know that Arkansas is a better rebounding team. We talked about it on the show on Thursday's show. And I know that Arkansas is bigger than on the backcourt. We talked about that in the Thursday show as well. I chalk a lot of this up to effort, and I've got some coaching questions, but Dylan, I'll go ahead and let you open up initial reactions here before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's start off with a kudos to KD Johnson. He has announced himself as one of the premier scorers on this team off the bench. And he got 29 minutes. If he would have got 40 minutes, I'm sure he would have hit that 30-point margin. When I talk about Semo, he left it all on the court. And when I say all of it, I mean that dude bled on the court for this team. I mean, this dude had stitches in his chin, got him busted out, got it rebandaged, and then was still taking charges left and right. But, I mean, first person I got to come at, Johni Broome, bro. I mean, it was a tough game all around for him. Defense, he was abysmal. I think anybody could have drove in on him and scored. And we talked about it, I think Alabama maybe? Not Alabama. But it was one game where Johni Broome was the only form of defense Auburn had. And he kind of got frustrated with the team about why he was the only one playing defense. And tonight I was like, I trust Wendell Green in the paint more than I trust Johni Broome right now. And that should never be the case. That should never be the case when you're talking about a 5'11" point guard and Wendell Green. But I look at this team up and down. I mean, I was really impressed with Dylan Cardwell putting up points. I was not impressed with how he played in the paint. But the fact that he got 7 points is pretty dang good for him. A great offensive night from Dylan Cardwell, because I saw there was a couple of times where he left his feet too early on getting those rebounds, but him scoring 7 points is huge. But chalk it up. I'm just going to say what you say. Yeah, effort wasn't there from a few guys. I didn't see effort from Allen Flanigan or Jalen Williams until the last 5 minutes of the game.
And you know what's crazy about Allen Flanigan specifically is that it's going to get buried in the fact that he posted 15 points and played a good 3 minutes at the end of that game. I mean, Allen Flanigan, by the end of the second half, and you look and you're like, well, now his head's in the game. But you're taking those 15-footers, which, mind you, I don't really mind Allen Flanigan taking. He makes that shot more than he misses that shot. Missing him short, trying to make, I guess, a little bit of a hero ball play on a number of occasions and really not moving the ball around. And that was a little bit of Auburn's problem there at the end of the game, or the entirety of the game, but specifically at the end of the game. I don't mind KD Johnson holding onto the ball, and people can come at me all they want about that. I think you feed the ball to number 0 anyways. I think I would rather have had him take that last second buzzer beater than Wendell Green. And no, this is going to piss some people off, Dylan, so you can go and get ready to quote graphic this one. I never have a problem with Wendell Green taking the last shot of the game. I don't. I really don't. And I know that people are saying, you can schedule an evergreen tweet that Wendell Green Jr. missed the last, a buzzer beater to win the game or tie the game or send it to overtime, whatever you want to say. You can give the kid a lot of crap. I don't ever doubt his desire. It's not this is all about me. Wendell Green Jr. is the best 3-point shooter you have on this team.
Oh, for sure. I think it's not close.
It's not particularly close. Would I have given the ball to KD tonight? Yeah, I would have given the ball to KD tonight, because sometimes you got to feed the hot hand, and he just had it going on. But I don't really mind Wendell taking that shot. I would have liked for him to step into that shot and step out of it. But at some point, beggars can't be choosers, and I didn't play ball past middle school, so I can't sit here and really be that critical. I guess I can, but I don't have the grounds to. Another thing I wanted to talk about, Dylan, speaking of shooting, this is going to kill Auburn in the tournament, and we're going to talk a little Selection Sunday. We're not going to make the show very long, like I said, but the free throw shooting and the percentage from the charity stripe. You shot 18 to 27. The fact you only lost by 3 points is miraculous. And Arkansas shot 17 to 23, so they were not remarkably incredible. But Auburn is once again forgettably bad from the free throw stripe. And there's some crazy statistic as we look forward into March. The brackets that go by just free throw percentages wind up typically in like the 75th percentile of most correct brackets. It's tremendously valuable. When you're in a postseason scenario, it's tremendously valuable all year. But specifically in a postseason scenario, to be able to hit your free throws. And right now, if it's not Wendell Green Jr., or I would even go as far now, right now at this point in time, KD Johnson shooting a free throw, I think Auburn fans, they're holding their breath. You watch Janai Broom, and he's going to split the pair at best. Dylan Cardwell made a free throw today, and I didn't know that was even legal. That was one of those things where you're like, wow, what the heck? But free throws were a problem. People are going to point fingers at the officials. I've got a little bit of tidbit of news, and I'm going to let you talk some other points here, Dylan, before we talk Selection Sunday. If the officials helped anyone tonight, it was Auburn, and I know that's going to get lost in the sauce. There were a couple times where I admittedly was a little confused on some soft fouls. I think Leo Berman got screwed twice. And that's me being just candid, but I also think that there are some guys in Arkansas. That tee was a tee. It was a little soft, and if it wouldn't have gotten whistled immediately, I don't know that it gets overturned. And don't get me wrong, that was a tech. But I think that if the officials go one way or another, I think it probably benefits Auburn slightly. It's probably 50-50 equally bad. I don't think it was great either way. But that's something I wanted to keep in mind. Dylan, question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is Auburn going to be able to rebound against anyone that's even a little bit bigger than them?
I've seen games where this team has gone above and beyond to out rebound the taller teams of this league. Tonight was not that night. That's because your big man
wasn't
really doing it. Arkansas got 37 rebounds to Auburn's 19, and I was shocked looking at the box score that Wendell Green didn't have more rebounds than Janai Broom did. That's what this game felt like to me. I thought Wendell Green played his dadgum mind out, and Janai Broom went 1 of 6 from the free throw line. I look at this team, and I'm like, this team is going to heavily rely on Janai Broom later on in March. And I said it on the last College Loop episode that this was going to be a huge game for Janai Broom. I said it with Lance Daw on Monday with Auburn Daily. I said this game is going to be a huge game for Janai Broom. And then he just did this. If this team isn't playing to their, I'm going to say, height, I guess, if Janai Broom's not playing to his height, Auburn's not going to make it out of that first round. And you got to hope and pray that if they do, and they find a way to win by rebounding like this, that they're not a 9 seed playing a 1 seed, because then they may get embarrassed by some of the other better rebounding teams. Because the last thing you want to do is to get embarrassed in March, because that goes through the rest of the summer.
I don't think you're wrong at all, Dylan. And you mentioned March, and you're talking about, you mentioned seeding, so let's go ahead and talk Selection Sunday. And I'm certain that we'll probably do a blurb, even if it's just a 2-minute little breakdown blurb, something that we will do quick on Selection Sunday before we record, or I guess we'll have already recorded. So yeah, we'll definitely have something going on Selection Sunday, maybe a live reaction show that we'll tape and post later. We'll figure that out, what that looks like.
Yep.
But I think Auburn's a 10 seed, 9 seed being the ceiling. I don't think you're any lower than that. But I think it's a 10 seed, which we talked before the show started might be a blessing in disguise. You avoid that number 1 seed matchup in the second round, and you eventually have to wind up going on and playing them. But in a world where Auburn gets slated to play in Birmingham in the round of 64 and around of 32, which I still think is plausible.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want is to play Alabama and get the doors blown off of you in Birmingham in the first weekend of March Madness. That's just calling a spade, right? Like that's ultimate humiliation.
The worst thing you can do is, sorry, I was cutting you off because I was like, for one thing, it's bad to lose 3 times to a team. It's worse to lose 3 times to a team that is your biggest rival in literally every sport. Like Auburn, Alabama fans hate each other no matter what sport it is. We would roll the trees for a tennis win over Alabama. But I've looked over some brackets. Auburn is either a 9 to 11 seed, what I've seen.
I think it's a 10.
I'm going to go with the 10. But I've seen teams going around the horn. I mean, it's either like Iowa. I've heard Iowa State.
Both of those matchups work in Auburn's favor, by the way.
Yes. I've also seen FAU, but that is the world where Auburn gets the 9 seed. Then it'd be let's play UCLA the next game.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that Iowa bracket I saw would have Auburn playing Houston in the second round. So
equally as bad. Pick your poison, right? But to some extent, once you get into the big dance, it's first team to win 5 games, and there is an element of that which listen. I think Auburn's ceiling is probably a Sweet 16 berth would be Christmas for this team. Now, would it make sense for Auburn to make an Elite 8 with this team? Yes, because it would make no sense, and anything can happen in March Madness. But like I said, we'll talk more on Selection Sunday. Right now, as things stand, let's look at the positive spin zone and let me sunshine pump for a second here. If you get anything out of an early exit from the SEC tournament, I don't think this plays to your favor, but some people take this route, and we've seen it work for other teams in the past. Get a little more time to get healthy. I don't think Dylan Cardwell is 100%. And also, side note, Chris Moore, dude, just put a Band-Aid on because, oh my gosh, your defensive presence is nuts. Let Chris Moore's stitches actually heal. So there's that'd be probably a nice attribute for him, although it didn't really seem to bother him.
I will say one thing about Chris Moore. I like the 41. I like it.
Yeah, the extra jersey that they always bring just in case something happens, someone gets torn or something left behind.
I swear Chris Moore's worn that extra jersey more than literally anybody else in Auburn basketball history.
Javon McCormick would like a word.
That's right. He did wear that jersey too.
A couple times. So yeah, there's your throwback. Last in the past being in that Final Four team, right? And then we were talking about March Madness. But quick reaction from you. On a scale from 1 to 10, how catastrophic, 1 being nothing to worry about, 10 being this is press the panic button, is this loss for Auburn and to Arkansas tonight going into Selection Sunday or going into the tournament in general?
I'm going to give it, let me see. I mean, I was stressed out, but I'm going to go 5.
That's a good answer.
Because that's you get time to get healthy. You get time to slap some effort into Janai Broom. I mean, you need that. He needs to be rebounding out of his mind in a week or so. But I think 5 is the best option. I'm not too upset. That might change based on what our seating is on Sunday. But right now, I gotta go with 5.
I'm gonna go with a 3. I don't think Auburn fans should be really that worried about it. And you've got a week and some change. Excuse me, hiccup there. Just ate a pizza, anyways, and chase it with Coca-Cola. But I think a 3 feels right for me, and I say that because you didn't have to win this game. And listen, you should win every game on your schedule. That should be your goal. Your goal should be whatever the match checks out was, something like 36-0, or 38-0, whatever it is, if you win the national championship. That being said, that put aside, Arkansas actually needed this win more than Auburn did. Arkansas is higher in the net. Arkansas was favored in Vegas, but they still needed the resume piece because they've not been able to put the whole roster on the court at the same time. They were able to do that tonight, and they won a basketball game close. against the tournament team. Auburn played close. I don't think they were necessarily 100% healthy down low. I don't know that Dylan Cardwell's really that big of an impact, I guess, in terms of health-wise. But you saw about as sloppy of a game from the interior as you can see, and you're still right there. And there's no doubt in our minds that Auburn can hang with anybody. It's a matter of can they beat anybody. We'll find out more about that as we get closer to the tournament. We'll really find out in that round of 64. And we'll go ahead and plug it right now. We're going to do a College Loop bracket challenge. Very excited for that. We'll talk about that on the selection show, our Selection Sunday show, once we find out where Auburn is slated, where they are headed, and where Bruce Pearl and company need to start focusing now. Side note, BP probably should have taken a timeout with that last offensive possession. That's neither here nor there. She needed to throw that in there because I forgot about it earlier in the show. But that being said, I'm Harrison Tarr at by Harrison Tarr. Like you're reading a byline on my Twitter. If you want to read my written work, I've got a couple of NFL draft pieces coming out about Derek Hall, Tank Bigsby, everyone that you want to talk about coming out right there on the Auburn Daily. So you can find us at theauburndaily.com. You can also find me on the Auburn Daily Show every Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday with Dylan Larck. Friday this week also with Dylan Larck, typically with the lovely Lindsey Crosby, who was hanging out with the Pirate Parrot, the Pittsburgh Pirate Parrot. That was awesome. King behavior right there. And then you can check me out on the College Loop every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Dylan, thank you so much for hanging out and hopping on with me. I know that this was not a fun one for you, but one that we need to get taken care of. If you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Dylan Larck at your boy the Tank on Twitter. That's at YABOI the Tank. Make sure to catch Daniel Locke's piece that he's going to be writing very soon about this game, and follow him on Twitter at Daniel J Locke. That's Locke with an E, even though he probably doesn't need any more followers. But yeah, follow the College Loop literally everywhere. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and social medias are all YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you to all those followers we got from the shorts. So I'm glad y'all like that.
Also, just want to mention this real quick, Dylan, before you get us out of here. If you're new to the show, this one's going to be, I think, a YouTube exclusive. Put in the comments where you found us. Tell us where you found us, and tell us what kind of content you're looking for. We will listen. We read them all. We try to respond to them all. So thank you guys for your support with the Loop. Thank you, Dylan.
All right. Well, with all being said, it's been the College Loop post-game review.